All right. Welcome to the Quarantine Check-In. Our guest today comes all the way from Devon, England, the really funny Lucy Orchard. How are you doing today, Lucy?
I'm doing really well, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing well. We
How's
are.
your back?
My back is better. I went for a 4 mile walk yesterday and got sunburned on the top of my head. So
Wow.
I trade one pain for another pain. That's the story of my life.
Oh, pray,
How,
pray for Robert.
yeah. Hashtag that. Pray for.
Hashtag pray for Robert.
So we met this past Wednesday at a virtual open mic I was running. I thought your set was hilarious. Not only did you work in Twin Peaks into your set, um, you also worked in that you're a truck driver, which makes you the second truck driving comedian that I know.
Really, I'm really looking forward to meeting more. It's a small niche.
Yeah, there's two of you. There's two of you. So how long have you been doing comedy?
Well, I mean, on paper all my life. I've always been somebody who holds court, as we say, with the anecdotes and conversation. And I only pushed myself at the beginning of the year to actually roll my sleeves up and start doing it. And I enrolled on a course that we have in London called Amused Moose, which has trained some of the sort of the most influential comics we've got in the UK at the moment.
So you've only been doing comedy for 3 months.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
yeah, it was going really well.
Yeah, so who out of who what comedians would you say influenced you?
Oh, it's with the British comedians. We're very lucky. I mean, I grew up watching things like Morecambe and Wise, Russ Abbott, um, just the variety kind of acts, people that actually would have done the variety shows. Then growing up and then having such strong females like you got French and Saunders, Victoria Wood and Julie Walters. I maybe I'm biased, but I just think we do funny women really well in the UK.
I'm not going to disagree with that. In fact, one of my influences is a British comic,
Please tell me.
Rick Mayall. I'm nothing like him, but I am such a fan of his, or I
Did
still
you
am.
ever watch the show that he was in just before he passed away with Greg Davis?
No,
Well, he was trained at the same school as me at Muse Moose, so it sort of all swings and roundabouts. Yeah, it all comes back together.
yeah, wow, wow, that's crazy. I didn't even know. I know he did one after Bottom, but I we don't get much of it over here.
Ah, right, okay. Because you do have like BBC World, isn't it?
We get BBC America, which means it's a lot of reruns of Star Trek: Next Generation and Doctor Who.
Oh well, I mean you can't go wrong with the Doctor. I hope you're still watching the Doctor, even though he's a she.
I'm a big fan of Jodie Whittaker as the Doctor.
Well, if
And
you get a chance, have a look at Man Down. It's the sitcom that Greg Davis did with Rick Mayall.
I will check that out. Man Down, cool. I will check that out. Um, so since you've been doing comedy for 3 months, and I guess you've been doing a lot of these virtual mics and in our new norm, how are you finding
Yes. Um, I, I'm sorry, you cut out a little bit. You just said, how am I finding the online night?
the
Well,
virtual open
I
mics?
love the virtual nights. I'll let you into a little secret. I black out during my comedy shows. I do the show, but I'm there, but I'm not there. And my all my friends think it's hilarious because they'll ask me how I did as soon as I get off stage, and I'll have to wait for the video to find out. Whereas doing these online versions, I'm seeing people's faces, like with the Zoom, to actually be able to see the little boxes with people's faces and see if you're getting a slow chuckle or a large guffaw and a reaction there and then. Whereas if they were in the comedy room, it'd be pitch black, you wouldn't see them.
I always see the people up front at the shows,
Yeah.
and I've done shows where I have that disapproving look of one person in the front. Yeah, that's the imitation.
Is
Yeah, I
it how many people will go to a comedy show and they've already decided you're not going to make me laugh tonight, mate.
Well, it's weird. I think it's mostly at open mics I find that, because you have people out there just to support their friends and they don't want to see anybody else. So let's see. So you've only been in comedy for 3 months. What has been your biggest bomb so far?
So far, because we always get told when you start off, you know, you're not a comedian until you've done a rubbish gig. When you've actually made that joke land and there is just no reaction. And we work so hard on our stand-up when you're taught to do it through Muse Moose. It's like, for every 30 minutes of material, right, you get 5 minutes out of it. It'll be that tight. And I haven't had a whole night that's bombed. But I do have a joke which is about how funny I am, and I will tell that joke, and people will just sort of look at me like that's unseemly for a lady to have made a joke about yourself in that way, and I just think, for Christ's sake, really? It's, you know, I'm 38, it's 2020, and to tell a joke that basically is about a lady's private parts, and they just go, no. And then the next comedian comes on and we'll do 20 minutes of dick jokes and blowjob jokes, and they are rolling in the aisles, laughter, and we're crying. And I make one joke about a female, and they're like, no, we're not there yet.
Do you like finding, like, in certain areas it's worse than others?
Students are terrified of a woman that knows what to do with herself because they're only babies. So I sort of come on and you can just see these little tiny children sort of go, a woman that has got self-confidence. Hide, don't make eye contact, she might eat me. So the little children, they don't tend to laugh. And then in some of the sleepier little villages where it's the time delay is about 30 years, and you can just see them going, oh no, women shouldn't make reference to that part of their body.
I don't do very many jokes about my genitalia, but I do. My humor is really dark, and you didn't hear much of it on the open mic on Thursday. But I did a show in Ohio, and middle of nowhere, Ohio, and I was doing my Jesus joke, and I'm talking about being Jewish, and no one's laughing except for these two lesbians. And then in the middle of one joke, this one guy older guy is nodding his head like, this is Trump country. We don't appreciate that. I'm like, oh man, the next 20 minutes is going to be terrible.
It kind of makes you think, nah, I can go further with this, mate. If you didn't like the first joke, wait till you hear the 10th.
Well, some of my stuff goes out there, and they were just not liking me. I'm like, this is the last time I'm playing a small town between Cleveland and Akron, Ohio, in a renovated bowling alley. Never going to do it again.
Well, we're very sort of, you're either town or you're country in the UK. And I mean, I'm sure you have it in America where if you're from the sticks or the hicks or whatever, you sort of see it as a bumpkin. You know, and those gigs, when I love doing country gigs, because those people have got a babysitter. They bought those tickets 2 weeks ago. They're bringing a sense of humour to the comedy night because they want to have a laugh. They're not going to, and it's not the same as when you do a town gig where the doors to the comedy club are open. Any students or office party can just get as drunk as what they want, roll into the comedy club, talk all over your set, and just not laugh at anything. And I prefer the out of town gigs. I definitely prefer those. But then there's people that probably won't find some of my cutting humour funny.
Yeah, I am tending to stick to shows in cities compared to small towns.
No way, we're the opposite.
Yeah, I was doing one small town show, and it was okay. The guy who promoted the show had it packed. The room was packed. Of course, he never told people to put their cell phones down, so they were like talking on their cell phones, and
that's amazing.
He stupidly was using a cordless mic. So I was the first comic who start walking out and harassing everybody. I think I walked a good quarter of the crowd during my set.
I remember seeing Marcus Birdman. He's the lecturer. But I saw him ages ago in Glasgow in the stand, and the girl was just on her phone, and it was so he dealt with it so beautifully. Even just sort of just it's all right. No, don't worry. We'll wait, and no one can work out why. And he goes, no, it's just this young girl. She's on Tinder. We'll just wait until she finds a match, and even then, she was sort of like, on her phone going, oh, he's having a go at someone. I wonder who he's having a go at.
That's funny. That's funny.
It's brilliant. I mean, I advertised, I did a an online comedy night for new material with the Rough As Comedy Club in Swansea. And I was sitting down writing what do I share the event as? And I was like, okay, it's a new act, new material night. You can keep your phones on, but don't heckle, and you can smoke inside. Because I mean, it's just we're trying to bring a comedy club.
Yeah. Oh, and so that was an online show?
Yeah.
I find new material showcases so uncomfortable in person. I can't imagine doing one online.
I have been to a couple of new material because obviously I'm a new act, so I'll be the new act, and the other guys will bring the new material. And there's some guys I really, really respect as comedians, and I think about 3 or 4 of them in a row did that ask the audience thing, but the questions were so ambiguous. No one put their hand up. I think they thought everybody was agreeing, and there is nothing like that silence when they try out the new material. They got a piece of paper in their hand, and they go, "Hey guys, so has anyone joined the gym?" And then there was just feel your skin crawl.
Oh man, that would be uncomfortable. Really uncomfortable. So, what were your goals for this year that have kind of been put on hold for comedy?
The goals were, because I've been looking at doing the Amuse Moves course for possibly about 9 years, and I've been wanting to do stand up for about 15. And everything came into all the stars aligned. I'd saved up a bit of work from doing my semi-driving in the music industry. I had enough to support me during a break. So do the course, absolutely find as many dates as humanly possible, 6 in a week if you can. Just get those gigs done, get your belt notches on, and then go back to doing semi-work, and then doing gigs on the weekend and finding an equilibrium until eventually I start getting paid. And then the lockdown happened.
Now, does Devon have a comedy club, or is it just bar shows?
We have little nights put on by different people. So, for example, we've got Luke Honrati, who does he does Barnstable and Wellington, and then you've got Cara Snell, who does Cullompton, and you've got I think it's Trisha Caller, who does Taunton. So you've got a lot of people running nights, and I'm even though I'm in the middle of nowhere, I'm not traveling more than 20 miles to do a night.
That's cool.
Yeah, there's so many, because people in the Southwest, they like to work hard, and then they want to go out for a laugh on the weekend, and I think it's beautiful.
That's awesome. That is awesome. The Detroit scene is pretty good. We have lots of shows. Hopefully they all come back once this is over.
Me too, because I mean, I love the idea that now that we're all doing online shows, like, for example, when my friend Kyna Morgan showed me the advert for Yourself doing that night, and I was like, yeah, why not? Because now, as opposed to me catching a plane to come and perform at your night, which would be dangerous because I'd walk away with £600 worth of comic books under my arm. Let's keep me away for a minute or two. I'm now performing in Detroit, and I've never been there. And I think that, I know the virus is terrible, but it's also been a real wall breaker downer, if that's even a word. But yeah, it's been a real leveler of man. I mean, I last night I was just about to go to bed, and I got my little phone went beep beep, and it was Jason Spitzbergen saying my open mic night's on in 45 minutes. Do you want to go? And I was like, fuck yeah.
Oh, well, how was it? I was contemplating, but then I decided to watch a movie.
It was brilliant. I mean, I have never performed with a drink in me, and I only had a drink last night because I wasn't performing. And then when I had that text message, I was like, yeah, okay. But it was brilliant, and Alex Bradley was there, and then Cindy Rockwood was there, and I met a couple of other new people, so that was really nice. And it's just like there was a guy that watched yours as a viewer who also watched Jason's, and I sort of messaged them privately, and I said, I've never even been to Detroit, and you're about to act my what? You're going to watch my act twice. Can you at least act surprised?
That's funny. I should have done it last night, but I did not.
Well, I mean, the thing is, there is no reason why I can't be performing in Detroit regularly now, because you guys have got such a great like sense of humor, and you're so welcoming as well.
Yeah, we have a great scene. Now, I did not start in the Detroit scene. I moved here 2 years ago.
I cannot take credit. Detroit was around before me.
I mean, I grew up here, but I left for like a decade, and then I started doing comedy in Kansas City, which is also a really good scene, and moved back here. And the scene is, I'll say one thing about this scene, it's really competitive. There's a lot of good comics, a lot of good shows, and I had to raise the bar when I moved here. So it was good. A lot of good comics. So let's go on to the next topic. Since you are a comic book fan, what comics have you been reading during lockdown?
I go back to Green Lantern a lot. It's my go-to. It makes me feel better. Like if I'm I mean, have you seen any of the Liam Sharp stuff that's been coming
Yep.
out? Who I'm honoured enough to be able to call a friend, and his work is just mind blowing. The splash pages he's been knocking out are just unreal.
You know him?
The UK comic convention scene is huge.
You know Grant Morrison?
Yeah, I've not met him. I've been in the same room when he's got panels. I mean, he hates superheroes. If you look at his work.
Grant Morris. I have like 5 favorite comic book writers: him, Neil Gaiman, Alan Moore, James Robinson. Actually, those are the only 4 I really like. Oh, and Brian K. Vaughan. Those 5.
Mm-hmm. It's just Bristol Comic Convention and ICE Shane Chesby holds that one. We had BrumCon. There's just there are so many happy memories that I've got from you. Well, the more conventions you go to, the less time you spend in the con hall. You go in, buy a ticket, buy a pint, and then everyone goes to the first pub.
I got to be honest. I don't go to comic conventions anymore.
Oh well, no, I've found it difficult the last few years, but even Lou Stringer and just all the lovely, even Dylan Teague. Yeah, there's loads of people.
Yeah, there are 2 reasons I don't go. One, it grosses me out when you see all the girls kind of dressed up in their superhero costumes, and the old fat guys with their phones just taking pictures of them. Just grosses me out.
Of life, brother.
And at the last Comic Con I went to was Emerald City when I lived in Seattle, and Seattle has their own superhero called Phoenix Jones.
Yeah.
And he was walking around in there. He bumped into me and wouldn't apologize, which means I have now become a supervillain because I want to destroy Phoenix Jones. I also realized I don't have the money to become a supervillain.
Yeah.
Because you have to be either really smart or really rich.
Yeah.
And I'm not either. I am not.
Well, I had to stop going because I was just, well, A, for my liver, and there's only so many sort of like John McCree splash pages you can pay for without realizing that you need an intervention.
Oh, do you own any of the splash pages from Hitman?
I have got Hitman splash pages upstairs, but they're mounted in a nice no light air conditioned room.
My God. Oh, I'm so jealous. All right.
I brought my these I brought these down to show you. That's one of my favourite, my Ghost Riders. Off roll. It's lovely. And then Dylan Teagan, Rufus Daigler. Got my own little I Love Lucy tank girl.
That's cool.
And then, of course, then you got your Steve Rude, who was like, I'll draw you anything you want. And I was like, Guy Gardner and a punch glove.
You could have got Nexus. Nexus. All right. So what other comics do you read besides Green Lantern?
I was really into Jenny Sparks, the John McCready Hitman as well. I really loved. I mean, I will read Batman. I mean, Birds of Prey. Absolutely adore Birds of Prey. Yeah, there's because there's so. Oh, and obviously, do apologise, Judge Dredd. I have to. Sorry, I could feel red dots appearing on me, Judge Dredd.
No, for me, it depends on the era of Judge Dredd. So when I was a kid,
I'm big into Walter the Wobot, and I'm loving Judge Fish, just to piss people.
I like the Judge Death stuff, and I can't remember what the storyline was called, where he was traveling between the different mega cities, and I want to say it was called Scorched Earth, and they had all these evil fast food characters in there.
Right.
I think it was during the Brian Bolland run. I like that. So let me back up. So when I was a kid, my dad would go to England all the time and bring me back comic books from there. So I would have these incomplete runs of 2000 AD, but the comic that he brought back that really messed me up was called Warrior.
Right.
It was basically Alan Moore, Stephen Moore, and a bunch of other people. Like Marvel Man was in there, V for Vendetta before DC got it.
Yeah.
And there was another book, I can't remember what it's called, it's Push Button something. And it was about a cyborg character and a female mercenary. And he had like a button on there that you would press that would give him orgasms.
They have that now. It's called a remote control.
But yeah, it kind of messed me up. And I would say Marvel Man, or as he's called here, Miracle Man, has become one of my favorite comics of all time. I don't know if you've ever read it.
No, I can't think of it. But I mean, I always dreamt of being involved somehow in comics. I can't write them and I can't draw them, but I was always really into being involved with them. And then ultimately, I just became a comic.
Yeah, I've wanted to write comics. I wrote one, and I didn't make any money on it, so I kind of gave up after it. So, all right, let's talk about something else. You are a Doctor Who fan, I take it?
Yes, I am. I'm a Whovian.
Who is your favorite Doctor?
For me, well, it's either meant to be the Doctor that was on TV when you were when you first started, and there was quite a while without the Doctor on our screens. So technically, it should be McGann because he did the special that I always remember. But it'll be David Tennant for me. Always, always David Tennant.
Yeah, he was a good Doctor. My first Doctor was Peter Davison.
Okay, who is David Tennant's father-in-law?
Yes. Like I was a kid, and I never saw them anytime in order until kind of recently. But he was the first Doctor I saw, and I liked the fact that he had celery on his jacket.
Well, you never know when you're going to need a Bloody Mary, darling.
Who's your favorite companion?
Oh, Rose.
Really?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Sorry, should I have taken a bit longer to answer that? I mean, if I could pick a companion for myself, I would want Captain Jack. But if you look at the Christopher Eccleston and the David Tennant, all of that, those series, it was about Rose plus Doctors. It was all about her. Oh, and then get to Bad Wolf. Don't mention Bad Wolf because I'll just cry.
I heard a rumor that we might see Rose again in the next season.
I have no idea. I mean, if they start those strings playing, and you know that Rose is coming, just all those Doctor Who fans just like they're broken, hardened shells.
I'll just say my favorite companion is Amy and Rory. Though I hated the way they wrote them out. I hated that. That was just stupid. My other favorite one, Ace from the last Sylvester McCoy years.
Hey, what about Sarah Jane then?
Sarah Jane's classic. I mean,
Did you ever watch the Sarah Jane mysteries? I feel that we've gone completely off comedy, and we're just basically having a geek out.
well, we are. But yeah, no, I watched the Sarah Jane Chronicles. It was okay for a kid show.
Yeah, it wasn't long ago that she passed, and it was really respectful the way that all the doctors that could get back into her Sarah Jane Chronicles did. I mean, the idea of like K9 just somewhere waiting for Sarah Jane to come back.
Oh, I gotta be honest, I hate K9. When I was a kid,
I'm breaking up. I'm going through a tunnel.
It just seems like it's the most ridiculous aspect of the Doctor, and there have been some pretty ridiculous aspects. I love the Daleks.
Can't you stand and they got toilet plunges on their head, but you don't like the dog?
It was stupid. And when they brought him back on that one episode where they reintroduced Sarah Jane, I was like, oh man, please don't make this a regular thing.
They did.
All right, so what did you think of the reveal in the season finale that the Doctor is more than just Gallifreyan? That she is the timeless child.
I've become so precious when it comes to Doctor Who. Like if anybody from the cast is on an interview, I will like a child put my finger in my ears and I will la 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 in case any spoilers come up. I don't even allow myself to think about the next episode of Doctor Who because I try to keep it so pure in my head. I just know that we're in good hands and whatever happens will be right.
No, I like it because then they are no longer bound by the 12 regenerations or the 13.
Well, they were because we've been getting nearer the end of your cat, my little baby's just there. They don't have 9 lives. They were going to have to think, well, the franchise is coming to an end if we don't work out how the hell we can sort of gobble some gold coins and get some extra lives.
Yeah. No, it's true. But I think they kind of answered that when Matt Smith turned into Peter Capaldi. Oh, here's the next great generation cycle. But yeah. Now they no longer have to worry about that. So, all right. So also one more thing of Doctor Who. What do you think of the new Master?
He's an evil little bastard, isn't he? I will always love Missy.
Oh, yeah, me too.
Missy was, and then John, is it John Sims that played the previous Master? I mean, John Sims in any role is just genius. And he played the Master so well to the point where, like, if you do that sort of knock, I will start freaking out. I'll think of John Sims, like, trying to kill Bernard Cribbins. But then he went on to Missy, and I thought Missy was amazing. But this new one, he's just an evil little shit.
I wouldn't say he's evil. He's playful and angry.
Yes. But Missy had that, I'm absolutely crazy, dear.
She was great. And I still get a smile when she revealed that she was the Master.
Yeah.
Because I spent that whole season thinking she was the Ronnie.
Oh. I actually picked up the Missy thing quite early. I don't know whether or not I'm allowed to feel smug. It's not like I'm worked out a callback at the end of a great comedy set. But it's, it's just the Missy thing. It just kept playing in my head. And I probably got to it about a few minutes before the reveal. So I was like, I was right.
I wish I was. So I have to wrap this up because I am filming another one after this, but I end every one of these by reading a Craigslist misconnection. I don't know if you have Craigslist over in England.
We have Gumtree, which is very similar.
Okay.
We haven't got a Gumtree killer, though.
You don't? USA #1. All right. I read one of these, and hopefully you can riff a joke off of it. So I'm going to read one. I've read this one before, and just riff off of it. Hopefully you can come with a different joke. Make $100 cash after pandemic. After this coronavirus epidemic is over, I'm offering a $100 bill. Criteria: you, a female over 18 years old. You're willing to knee me in the balls a few times a session. I will not meet until this is over. And this person's from Salem, Mass.
If that's the going rate, then my ex-boyfriend owes me 300 quid.
All right, I have to ask, what did he do to deserve kneed in the balls?
He didn't like the new Doctor Who.
He deserved that. He deserved that. Well, Lucy, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure interviewing you. Hopefully, when this is all over, you can come out to Detroit to do one of our shows in person.
I would absolutely love that. And I believe that John Pearson's doing a virtual festival in May for us British, because obviously the Edinburgh Comedy Fringe has been cancelled because of the old virus. So I will send... Pardon?
They're cancelling the Fringe Festival?
No, they cancelled.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So we're all scrabbling around, and there's a virtual festival happening in May. So where myself and my comedy troupe, the fuck voters, the sit-down comedy show, we're going to maybe call it. We're going to do an hour special, a sketch sort of troupe show. So I'll try and share all the details out for that as well, because I'd love you to see it.
Cool, that'd be awesome. Thank you so much, and hopefully we'll see you on Wednesday or Thursday again for our next open mic.
Oh, darling, I'll be there if you'll have me.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Bye from England.